all these rights that Islam has for man and woman before marriage is based on what a man is supposed to be and what a woman is supposed to be. In Islam, we actually have gender roles, which the world now wants to get rid of. We have how a man must live his life and how a woman must live her life, depending on the inner nature of that person. Yes, the woman is made as the feminine, and the man is made as the masculine, and there is supposed to be some feminine in man, and there's supposed to be some masculine in woman, but predominantly, the woman is supposed to be feminine, and the man is supposed to be masculine. What do I mean by these two terms? I will explain as we go on. First of all, we're speaking about marriage. Marriage, as we know in Islam, we have ibadat and mu'amalat that we mentioned in fiqh. Remember? Ibadat is your own ibadah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your worship, fasting, praying, these things, taqleed. Mu'amalat is buying and selling. Marriage is under mu'amalat because nikah, because there's a contract between two people. So in the beginning with Islam, fiqh-wise, that's why marriage is under, in fiqh, under nikah, under mu'amalat. Because it's between two people and it's a contract. You might think like, what's going on? Is a man buying the woman here? No. This is a contract in its fiqhi terms. Islamic law is based on this. And then there are all the laws, all the rules, and all the rights that the man and the woman would have, the husband and the wife would have. And then of course, you want to learn how to be the most pious of people and follow the tradition of Rasulullah. They need akhlaq in that relationship. But the akhlaq, there are some mustahabbat that are mentioned in the fiqh when it comes to marriage that seem pretty akhlaqi. But a lot of the akhlaq as well will be based on the seerah and the narrations of the ma'sumin, which we need as well, so we can get the full picture. Otherwise, if you want to be like those people that look only to the fiqh, and they say, look at Islam and how oppressive it is to women, then this is what we call a fallacy. Like in mantiq, when we mentioned the other day in logic, someone's taken only part of the truth, and they have told you, look what Islam is. They have disregarded the akhlaq aspect, disregarded what the Prophet says about women, and how the Prophet treated women, and how the Imams treated women. And so they come and they say that, look, these are the two rights of man in a marriage, which are controversial, and this is why a woman is oppressed. So, first of all, when the man is coming to marry the woman, we look at what the right of the woman is in Islam, in a marriage, after the contract is happening. The man has to be the one who goes to the woman in Islam. It's not bad or disliked if the woman approaches the man, but even if she did, like Khadija approached Rasulullah, Rasulullah is the one who has to go to her house. She doesn't come to Rasulullah's house. Rasulullah went to Sayyidah Khadija's house with Abu Talib, his uncle, and his uncle gave a little speech, the whole tulbih. They did all of that. You're supposed to do that. That means even if the woman comes to approach the man, she's the one who likes the man, it's the man that has to go to her. And at the time, Abu Talib is the one who paid the mahr, right? But Rasulullah was poor, and so people were like, who's going to pay the mahr? And Imam Ali alayhi salam was only like 9-10 years old, and he comes and he's like, Abi. He was 5 actually. He was 5 years old, and he comes and he says, my dad's going to pay the mahr. He's the one who just put his dad into the place. And Abu Talib said, Bi Abi anta wa ummi, to Imam Ali alayhi salam. So it's the man that must go to the woman. طيب. That means the man is the one who has to chase, in general. The woman is supposed to be prized. You might feel like this is objectification, and it's okay. You can say that. But as uncliche as I want to sound, wallah, is true. She's seen as like someone that you have to earn their love and trust and relationship. That's why we have something called kafa'a or kufu. Kufu means when someone is worth someone else. That's in fiqh. In fiqh, the man cannot approach the woman unless he is her kufu. So we don't agree in fiqh terms. If there's a princess, Islamically in fiqh, she can't get married to the piper unless she decides that, I'll go down to your level. But the princess cannot get married to the piper in general in the beginning. If she is living a certain lifestyle with her parents, when you come, you're supposed to be able to sustain that lifestyle, unless she allows you and says that it's okay. I will come down, it's okay, don't worry. So she's letting you off the hook. If the girl has a servant in her home, the husband must provide a servant. Because he has to let her live the same lifestyle that she lived in her family's house, unless she comes and says, it's okay, I will do without a servant. So haqqa, and she will allow you not to do that. These are all haqq, these are huquq, this is fiqh. I'll tell you when I get into the spiritual aspect. So far we're in fiqh, which is very interesting. Why? Because I just mentioned how dry it can be, how it's all about rules, how it's all about, not about what's with meaning necessarily. But no, when you start looking at the ahkam based on the mahbubiyya and mabghudiyya of Allah, and then you see that the man has to be the one to chase and impress and talk to the parents and convince them and all of that, then it comes down to her, and she doesn't have to get married if she doesn't want to. Even if her dad tells her, get married, she doesn't have to. She's above 9 years old. She has walaya over herself, as well as her father having walaya over her. They both have to agree. So if he agrees and she doesn't, they can't get married. If she allows all of these things and she lets him off the hook, and even kafa'a, by the way, that's why we say in the narrations, and this is part of the akhlaqi side, and you understand what kufr means as well. We say that Sayyidah Zahra alayhi salam, there was only one person kufr for her in the whole world, and that was Ali ibn Abi Talib. That means, that's why they say if Imam Ali was not there, she could never get married. There was no one worth her. So when there's someone coming and your father's looking at it, he's looking at, is this person kufr or not? And by the way, if the person is not kufr and your father disagrees, then it's his right to. Kufr would mean as well that there's no one else around who is worth the girl. So this is the only person that comes. This person comes along and he's saying, I'm kufr, and he's not kufr, he can claim kafa'a. But the father may not see the kafa'a in the person. Of course, everyone has to have their evidences. It's not just based on claims. So kufr is within fiqh. It's used by the maraja. It's in the risala amaliyya. So it's something that is seen as a rule. It's a rule. And it's for the woman, it's her right that she, if she wants, can allow the man to approach her, even if he's not worthy of her, in fiqhi terms. طيب. What happens when they get married? They have a contract. And then there's mahr that has to be paid, right? A dowry. Now, it's always encouraged that the dowry is not too high, so that it doesn't place too much strain on the man. But this is wajib on the man to pay as an insurance policy for the woman. Why? Again, the gender role of the man in Islam is the protector and the worker outside of the home. He is supposed to be the breadwinner. And I'll get to that right now. So the man has to, the main thing that he has to do with his wife, once she's his wife, is wujub al-nafaqa. Yani, he has to sustain her, always. Sustain her financially. With food, with shelter, with clothes, with everything else. That's wajib on the man to do. Even if she's super rich, even if she has millions of dollars, it does not matter. It's the man's job to get the house. He doesn't have to own it, but he has to at least provide a place in which she lives. And it doesn't have to be with his parents. It's her right for it not to be with his parents. She has a right of her own space, where she can live, and food and shelter and clothes are all supposed to be provided for her. She can work, not work, that's something else. She has money or no money, something else. This is the man's job, always. طيب. The nafaqa is the main right that the woman has. This, to sustain her financially once the marriage is done. After the dowry has been paid, whatever the dowry is that they agree upon. In these days, I don't know, they $20,000, people are saying 30,000, 50,000, I don't know. Some people just do a Quran, some people do a Hajj, some people do these kinds of things, right? Although I do recommend there be money and there's an insurance policy for the woman, so that, la samahullah, if there's a divorce, she has something to fall back on. Even though now you guys are falling back on your degrees and everything else, in the olden times, there weren't these things. And the man was the one who was the main breadwinner, and this is also why. This is showing that this is based on the man being the breadwinner. But this does not change with the times, this. We know now that there are women that are out there and they're working. But the wujub al-nafaqa is still based on the man, because the man stays a man and the woman stays a woman. This is not about the change of times. There are some things that are thabit and some things that are mutaghayyir. Some things change over time. But the daruriyat do not change over time. And it's a darura for a woman to be a woman and a man to be a man. There's a masculine nature to a man that he must have, and a feminine nature.